Welcome back to Make Your Statement. I'm your host, Richard Wedgwood, Group MD at FASTSIGNS Manchester and Bolton. In this episode, we'll be delving into the intricacies of signage design and the journey Apex Self-Storage took to achieve cohesive visual identity across its unique locations with outstanding results. We'll discuss how strategic collaboration and expert guidance can transform complexities into clarity. Welcome, Elena.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us today and welcome to the show. Could you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and what it is you do at Apex Self-Storage?
Yeah, so I'm Elena Johnson and I'm the marketing coordinator at Apex Self-Storage. So with that I work at head office closely with our general manager and I sort of look after everything marketing related. So that's from digital, marketing, social media, and of course branding and signage.
Fantastic. Now, how long have you been in that role?
So in this role I've been here for about a year and a half. Previous to that I was working in sites as an assistant manager. So I sort of got to know the business and everything, and now I've gone up to do marketing at head office. So it's a good basis to go off, I think.
Brilliant. And what brought you into the marketing sphere in the first place? What attracted you to marketing as a career?
I think when I was sort of at college, I was quite interested in business studies. I did that at A-level, then went on to do marketing at, marketing at university. So I got a degree in that. And then, just sort of next step in my career, I think.
Fantastic. So let's dive deep into the challenges you faced regarding sign design in your various unique locations. Obviously, it's never a case where you've got multiple locations with multiple different types of building elevations and all the rest of it. It's not as simple as just taking a concept and just picking it up and dropping it somewhere else and expecting it to work. With often so many messages to get out there, it's always a big temptation to kind of stick signage everywhere and it looks like an explosion in a signage shop. Nobody knows where to look for the relevant information. So it's kind of quite important to focus down on what your key messages are, making sure that it's prominent and customers and passing traffic actually know who you are and what you do. So let's just talk through about the uniqueness of the locations a little bit.
Yeah, so we've got 8 locations that are scattered around the northwest, and all of them are retrofitted, meaning that we've taken over existing buildings and fitted them out into storage centres. So you can imagine that each one's quite unique. It's got its own personality,
Absolutely.
Its own shape, and with that comes, the task of making signage that works and can be visible.
And making yourself identifiable from one location to the next.
Yeah, definitely. And, some of our locations are maybe like a little bit hidden away. So, prominent signage is really important for us. We need people to know where we are. When people are looking for storage, they want to find somewhere that's as local to them as possible. So, if they can find one around the corner with a big Apex sign on it,
Absolutely.
It's nice and easy, isn't it?
Of course.
Yes.
It's the name of the game.
And I think as well, just to touch on what you were saying about the signage scattered everywhere, it's sometimes difficult in storage. We sort of have so many messages to try and sell ourselves. For example, we've got free van and driver, we have offices for rent, and it's just finding that balance between, getting effective signage that lets people know what you're about, or overkill.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, typically static signage gets around 3 to 5 seconds of somebody's attention to get, what does the company do? What are they all about? Is it a service or product that I need? Mm-hmm. It's always quite disappointing when you drive past a business and they've clearly spent quite a lot of money on signage, and even after you've driven past, it's, well, who are they and what do they do? And it's like you've spent all this money, yet you're not getting your message out there. This podcast is all about make your statement, and as a business, we're here to help companies like you to actually get out there and make your statement to your prospect and your customer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So creating a signage strategy that works across various unique locations can be challenging due to different spatial constraints, regulations and customer demographics. Do you find that from each of your locations to the next that there is much by demographical change and what the localised messaging for each of those locations might be?
Yeah, I think because we have branches in the city centre, like in Ardwick, which is very like sort of student orientated. We get lots of students that are there over the summer and stuff. And then we have in more rural locations, we've got like Congleton, Cheadle, Cheshire, Warrington. So yeah, it's just sort of tapping into your local audience and making sure that you understand what benefits they like. So do they prefer 24-hour access to be included? You know, do they need bigger units and stuff like that? So it's a lot about knowing your local audiences,
of course,
and then obviously just sort of feeding the right information to them.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So thinking about your involvement with the signage project, how involved, hands-on have you been? I know obviously we've been working with Alistair over some period of time, but I'm guessing that ultimately some of the buck stops, at least with marketing, to say, yes, that's actually hitting the message we want to achieve. Yeah. How involved have you been in that?
So, more so recently, I've become a lot more involved in it. I'd sort of regularly meet with Aaron. A lot of the time what we'll do is we sort of work on each site in a go. At the moment we're sort of doing a bit of like a rebrand, not maybe a rebrand as such, but we're trying to tidy up the image of the company as a whole.
Yeah.
So we're sort of taking it branch by branch, and what we'll do is sort of get Aaron to come and meet us at the branch, and I'll go and Alistair will go, and we'll just do a full site walk around, you know, stopping everywhere and going, do we need this here? Can we take that one down? Can we replace this with something nicer and everything? Aaron will do all his measuring up. And then I'll go back to the office and I'll usually draw up some like rough designs, which will then get sent over to you guys, and you guys will finalise them, make them look a bit shinier. Yeah. And then obviously it goes to production in your in-house production studio.
Absolutely.
And and then you guys fit it all for us as well. So it's dead easy. It's we don't have to worry about getting a spirit level out and making it straight and all that. So yeah.
And since starting on the kind of this rebrand and freshen up, have you noticed much of a change in terms of footfall, in terms of inquiry level? Is that something that you've seen? Any change, or how do you feel that the review of the signage has actually started to impact the business, or is it too early to tell yet?
Well, no, I think a prime example would be we've just done a refurb of our reception at our Cheadle branch.
Right.
And obviously FASTSIGNS have done all the external signage for it, the internal signage, and it looks incredible. And already we've started to notice more walk-in inquiries, more ad hoc packaging sales.
Fantastic.
People can just see where we are, they can walk straight in. And we're getting a lot of comments saying, wow, doesn't it look beautiful? It's all bright brilliant. And lovely. And, we have lots of customers that have been there for years and years, and they're sort of excited to see it looking all fresh.
Going, wow.
Yeah, they've got some nice new toilet facilities as well, so they're happy.
I think that's always one great thing about the space that we operate in, that it is so visual and it's so impactful that actually when you get that positive feedback from the customer, it makes all the hours that you put into it all worthwhile to get that positive feedback back again. Absolutely. Can you provide an example where sign design challenges significantly impacted your operations?
So obviously I've just mentioned Cheadle, that's already having a great impact. Our packaging sales are going up, walk-in inquiries are going up. And then also
in quite a competitive space as well, it has to be said, in Cheadle.
Our competitors in that area, we've got like a big storage world just down the road and everything. So, it is important that we are competing and people in the local area are knowing about it.
Absolutely.
100%. But aside from that, we've just expanded our Glossop branch as well, which I think we'll be speaking about a little bit later. But yeah, it's helped operations in a way that we've now started putting in lots of nice like wayfinding signage in the storage areas so that the customers are able to make their own way around. You know, it's saving us time from going, oh, let me show you to your storage unit and everything. They know where to go. It's nice and easy for them. And it's just a nice sort of working environment. I think, you know, having the nice branding in the reception makes us feel, when we're working there, just more behind the company and like ready to sell some storage.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just one question on location. When you're considering a new location, what are the primary considerations if you found there was a suitable warehouse in, I don't know, let's say Stratford, for example? What would be the kind of decision-making process of whether you move into that area or whether you don't?
Well, it's kind of tough, really, because you've got so many things at play. You need to find somewhere that's a large enough space that we can fit it out to create enough storage units to, you know, supply the demand. We like to be close to, you know, housing estates and everything, so we're going to get that traffic of house move customers and everything. And it's nice to be at a roadside location, so, you know, maybe coming off the motorway or something, so
drive-by
like that.
Visibility.
Yeah, so
exposure.
that when people are driving past on their daily commute every day, they can see us there and they're just, you know, they're being reminded of us. They might not need storage right now, but one day they will.
Yeah, it's all about being in front of mind sometimes.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
When they do need you, they know where to come.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So the design process is a vital part of any signage strategy. Let's discuss the key elements that were considered in creating the signage for your various locations, and quite specifically the impact it had on your new site, your brand new site in Glossop, which looks very impressive, it has to be said.
Yeah, we're really, really impressed with the way it's come out. Beforehand, that site at Glossop was primarily a container unit. So we had lots of containers in the yard and we had a small section of internal storage. Obviously now we've taken over a newer building, which is closer to the road as well. So we've really tried to, you know, make use of that. It's sort of on a corner. We've got a big sign up there that's all lit up, and we're getting a totem put up as well that you guys are making for us. I think that's due towards the end of the month to go up.
Just a couple of weeks away now.
Yes, yeah. So I think we're just really, really happy with it. It's nice, it's clean. You know, the building's all cladded in like a nice pale grey, which is nice. You know, on theme with our sort of branding as well. Yeah. And just, yeah, you know, it's lovely. I think everyone's sort of happy with it. The customers are coming in and saying, wow, this is such an improvement, because, you know, we've got customers that stored with us 5 years ago and now they've come back and they're going, oh, I hardly recognised it. This is crazy. Yeah.
Brilliant.
And it's nice as well to just provide those sort of fresh, brand new units for people. I think, you know, never been used.
And is there one for you, when you think about Glossop specifically, is there one standout element that when you saw it for the first time, obviously you might have seen it on the page, but when you saw it in reality, made you go, wow, that looks great?
I think just in the reception, you walk in through the reception and then there's just like a nice big Apex Self-Storage logo. It's lit up and it just looks really powerful. It's dead bold. And I also like as well what we've done is the you know, like the window vinyls, you know, the frosted window vinyls that just are like sort of quite understated, but I think they just make it look a bit more high class, would you say? Maybe. I don't know. I think it makes it look a lot nicer, put together.
Well, I think quality signage, decor, all the rest of it all helps to project the message that you want to give to your customer, that they're dealing with a quality establishment. I mean, particularly in your space, people are putting a lot of trust in you that what they're putting in your buildings is going to be safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's, you know, people put all their worldly goods in there and leave them there for 6 weeks while they're in between moving houses. They need to know that... That's a lot
of trust.
Yeah, they need to know that it's safe where they are. And I think coming into a building that's put together, you know, that's got a nice open space.
Looks professional.
Yeah, it looks nice and professional. It looks put together.
Yeah.
And it just makes us feel like more of a trusted brand.
Yeah, you can totally see why that would be important to a customer.
Yeah.
Because if you walk through the door and think, well, I'm not sure I'd leave my rubbish in this place, let alone sort of granny's heirlooms or whatever it might be that they need to store. However short a period of time, it's a lot of trust.
Yeah, it is.
So, can you describe the design process in creating the signage for your various locations? Just to start with blank sheet of paper and think, okay, we've got 4 key messages we need to get out, and then you look at how to locate those, or is there another methodology that you use to do it?
Yeah, we have our main, I'd say like 6 or 7 selling points, and we want to try and make space for them at various points on the building, but we don't want to clutter them all together and put them all just, it's here.
It's just confusing.
You don't want to baffle people because, you know, people aren't going to read every single one of them.
No.
So it's sort of being a bit strategic about the placement, like I said, not putting everything together, and obviously just sort of working with the various buildings as they are.
Of course.
Like I was saying earlier, you know, they're all very different to each other. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. So, you know, especially sort of having, having Aaron come to site with us, and, you know, with his sort of signage expertise, he might say, you know, something might look really good there that we might have forgotten about. And it's, you know, it's nice to just have that extra pair of eyes on the whole process.
Absolutely. I mean, it never ceases to amaze me over all the years I've been in this business that there are people, it might be a van that they're looking to have graphics put on, and they will want to include almost this list of services of everything they've ever done in their entire work career on this relatively small sign that's going to be flying past at 60 miles an hour. And actually, in the end, when there's too much there, people end up reading nothing at all.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just about picking out what are your core messages and really focusing in on those.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of things that people would assume that by association that you do. You know, for example, if you're providing storage, you probably provide some kind of packaging material.
Yeah.
So actually, you know, sometimes less really is more.
Yeah, absolutely.
And getting the core messages across and just thinning it out. And sometimes it's a little bit of a battle in our industry to actually get people to focus down on a handful. And it sounds like you've got that absolutely nailed if you've got it down to 7.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. I think it's quite easy to sort of go, oh, we do this, and we do this, and we do this, and you want to shout about all the amazing things that you're doing.
Of course.
But yeah, it's sort of taking a step back and going, what's the key thing that's going to get people to actually call you or go to your website or
getting down to a few calls to action, really. And that's probably about it. So, and as always, our last question: how do you believe our project with Apex has helped your business to make your statement?
So I think in the last sort of 4 or 5 years that we've been working with you guys, it's sort of given us more of a vision as to how we want our company to be perceived. How do we want our brand to be perceived? You know, we are a localised independent company.
Entirely Northwest.
Yeah, entirely Northwest, and we've been open since 1999. So you can imagine throughout the years we've had lots of different people having a hand in, you know, signage or, you know, other types of design work, and it sort of ended up with a bit of a mismatch of stuff. But I think, you know, over the past few years that we've been working together and we're going through site by site and just making sure everything's sort of unified and cohesive, I think it just makes us look like more of a competitive storage company in the industry. And it's
and a standout professional image.
Yeah, exactly. And like what we were saying about trust, you know, it's all about, you know, making sure that customers trust us.
Absolutely.
You know, and they're happy to spend their money with us.
Absolutely. Well, Elena, it's been an absolute pleasure having having you with us here today on Make Your Statement. We really appreciate the partnership we have with Apex Self Storage, and I hope that continues for many years ahead, and we help you indeed to go and make your statement to your customers.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
Cheers.
you. If you found today's conversation as enlightening as we did, and you're keen to discover more stories of businesses making their unique statements, be sure to hit the subscribe button on your favourite podcast platform. We have many more fascinating conversations lined up for you in the coming weeks. You can also watch how these conversations unfold by subscribing to our YouTube channel, where you get the added advantage of seeing our guests in action all the way from our Manchester head office. We promise you won't want to miss it.